Welcome to a collection of nightmares, each told in just 2 sentences. Short, sharp, and terrifying. Not every story needs a page to scare you. Some need only 2 sentences, and they'll follow you long after you've read them. Let's begin.
Don't be scared of the monsters. Just look for them. Look to your left, to your right, under your bed, behind your dresser, in your closet. But never look up. She hates being seen.
It sat on my shelf, with thoughtless porcelain eyes and the prettiest pink doll dress I could find. Why did she have to be born still?
Every night, I kiss my wife and daughter goodnight and drift off with a smile. Every morning, I wake up screaming in a padded cell as the nurses whisper, "You don't have any family left." I heard the doorbell, but I wasn't expecting anyone. I didn't know they put doorbells on coffins.
I finally fixed the leaky faucet in the kitchen, and the annoying water drops stopped bothering me anymore. Now I can hear them crying in the basement.
My dog Billy always waits by the door for me to get home. He died 2 weeks ago, and I wonder who keeps digging him up. I stuck a fork into the charger plug. Instead of a shock, I heard it whisper, "Ow."
In all my years alone in this old house, I've closed more doors than I've ever opened.
I finally stopped hearing the whispers in my head after years of therapy, but now they're writing on the walls instead.
I met this pretty chill old guy in our local park and started talking to him, but he first asked me, "Are you young'uns real, or am I imagining things?" I was the only one who approached him.
My sick baby just wouldn't shut up, so I held my hand over her mouth until she turned blue, unable to breathe through her congested nose. When I had to remove my hand, she gasped for air and let out a weak cry, just loud enough for the masked killer to find her hiding spot.
Everyone was starving to death, and in our suffering, we made the awful decision to draw straws to see who we would eat. We all tried to consider ourselves lucky when the woman who drew the short straw surprised us and came with dessert.
I love my cats and dogs more than anything in this world. In our crumbling home, deep in a nuclear wasteland, I sawed off my own left leg to feed them, praying they'd remember the taste when I was gone. Oh, she's got her father's eyes. In fairness, she did tell him she'd be taking them. Literally. I finally met the man of my dreams, and all I can think of as his faceless form lurches after me in the woods is that I wish he had stayed in my dreams.
Last night, my son told me his imaginary friend Michael was angry with me. A strange coincidence, since Michael was the name of my childhood imaginary friend, long since forgotten. Without hesitation, my son looked me dead in the eyes and whispered, "I know, he told me."
I woke to a glowing angel at the foot of my bed, her wings stretching wide as she smiled down at me. "Don't be afraid," she whispered.
pulling my soul from my body. You weren't meant to wake up today.
I dressed my little cousin in several warm layers until he was suitably covered, small face excitedly beaming out his little hood as we left for the mall. As he sat beneath the Christmas tree sipping his cocoa, the crowds hurrying by, I felt the slightest pang of guilt as I pressed the detonator. My wife sent me a TikTok of our daughter happily dancing in the living room while I was at work. It wasn't until I remembered my wife was also at work with me, and that our daughter doesn't even own a smartphone, that I realized someone else had been recording her.
I thought that theater had no power, but why is that thing crawling out of the screen?
Don't worry, I won't do anything to you, my kidnapper said as he handcuffed me to a radiator. He was honest, and that he wouldn't hurt me. But it's been 2 weeks, and he hasn't fed me either.
In order for me and my husband to be rich, we made a deal with the devil, and as a payment, the devil would take whichever part of us he desired. As years passed without incident, and we moved on with our wealth and kids, we carelessly did not realize that our children biologically were part of us.
I wished for the genie's freedom, proud of myself for doing the selfless thing. He laughed as the shackles slipped onto my wrists, and I realized too late that granting wishes would be my torment for the next 1,000 years.
We celebrated when our submersible cameras captured a new species in the deepest ocean trench, its countless eyes watching us before it slipped into the dark. The celebration turned to horror when the astronauts reported the same creature staring back at them from the void of space, whispering our names in voices they didn't have.
"Mama, it's a beluga whale!" cried the little girl in excitement as her mother looked up to correct her that the animals wouldn't be this far south. Instead, she chose to lie to her own child, nodding that the pale, naked, impaled in the head and bloated corpse was indeed a beluga whale. I went home with a guy from a bar but left after making out with him because his apartment smelled weird. A week later, I went to the doctor for what I thought was a weird cold sore on my lip, only to be told that I was infected with bacteria that is only found in dead human flesh.
Living in a remote log cabin, the sound of children's laughter echoing through the woods torments my sleep at night. No matter how often I poison the kids' camp across the lake, it still never stops.
When the fortune teller told me the thing I saw as my child would kill me, I laughed it off and swore never to have kids. But as the infection spreads from my dog's bite, I hear its whimpers echo in my head, not as a pet, but as the son I unknowingly raised to finish me.
As the horror movie ended, the words "based on a true story" flickered on the screen before glitching into a single word: yours.
A neglected little girl clung happily to the only thing that ever embraced her back, the wild python she called her best friend. She didn't understand why her new friend wouldn't let go, even as she cried for it to stop squeezing.
Did you enjoy this short-paced collection of two-sentence horror stories? They're quick, unsettling, and hit you before you even realize it. but this is just a taste. The next video will feature a much bigger compilation with 50 to 100 stories stitched together for a longer, more chilling ride. If tonight's short pacing gave you chills, just wait until you experience the slow, creeping terror of what's to come. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know which story haunted you the most. Until then, keep your lights on, and I'll see you in the shadows.